Now back to Inside West Virginia Politics with Mark Curtis.
And welcome back this Sunday on Inside West Virginia Politics. We want to update the situation with flood recovery and relief here in the state of West Virginia. Joining me right now is General James Hoyer, the Adjutant General of the West Virginia National Guard. He's here to talk about the RISE West Virginia program and other
morning,
things.
Mark.
Good morning. Good morning. I almost called you Senator. Good morning. Maybe you know something. Maybe I know something. I know something you don't know. Yeah. Not Senator, General Hoyer. Let's update the situation. First of all, we're almost 3.5 years now out from the 2016 floods. Where are we in terms of the numbers of homes completed, people back in their houses, and what's left to do?
So we have 71 complete. We'll see another 2 that should be completed this week with the final inspection. 131 notices to proceed and about 50 in construction right now. So progress continuing to move forward. Clearly, we wish we weren't in the position that we were at one point, but clearly progress moving forward. Continuing to work with HUD on the final documentation that has to occur to do the demolition program and get it started. My guess is probably sometime the 1st of December, but assessments are being done and things are being readied for that. Our 8th bridge is under construction, so a lot of good progress there. A lot of great work going on with VOAD and the volunteer folks that are coming in from across the country to participate on that side of it as well.
Let's talk a little bit about the controversy that erupted last week. One of the subcontractors basically saying that the contractor is charging excessively for cinder block foundations around houses, as much as, well, they said $16,000, and the subcontractor we talked to said, well, it would only cost me $600 to do that. How do you respond to that in terms of people wondering if the public dollars that were sent here for aid from the federal government are being spent wisely?
Yeah, so a couple things put in perspective first. About 28% of the total population of cases lie in the floodplain and require elevation if the families decide not to move outside the floodplain. We try to encourage folks to move outside the floodplain, but if you've been on a homestead for 100 years, you don't want to move. So those require an elevation above the floodplain. There are specific requirements within the HUD documentation and the process that we have. Are some of the costs higher than they could be if we had more competition in the bidding process? Probably so. I would say yes, they are. But nobody's doing anything outside of what was approved by state purchasing, what was approved by HUD to do. And people need to also remember that there is a total $83,000 cap on total infrastructure work and improvements. So if the cost goes high on elevation outside of the requirements, then a septic tank, water, and sewer have to be replaced. Then the contractor's going to eat part of that cost because we've got that $83,000 cap. Right now, we're averaging almost $40,000 per home on infrastructure costs, water, sewer, and power. It's just the nature of where we are in West Virginia, and the good news for people is we're vastly improving the life of people who had homes that needed that infrastructure done.
Okay, we're going to keep an eye on this. Obviously, the flooding committee of the legislature meets every month. You're there. We're going to be there this week, and we'll update folks on the situation with the costs. Let me just quickly turn to the National Guard. What do you guys got going on coming up soon in terms of deployments, other activities?
So exceptionally busy right now. We've got about 550 who are in the process of moving into the Middle East right now. We've got an EOD unit that's coming out of the Middle East and out of Afghanistan, so that's a great thing to get those folks home. We've got another couple of units that are getting ready for deployment, and we'll start their mobilization process. We've got special operations forces in Europe supporting our NATO partners. We've got folks from the 130th getting ready to deploy, and every week we send an airplane out of Martinsburg somewhere around the world. And last week we trained the band to fight wildfires in West Virginia. So there is no lack of work in the West Virginia National Guard.
All right, we want to thank General James Hoyer for joining us. He comes in about once a quarter to update the situation. Best to you and those that serve us.
Thank you.
And thank you for your service.
And
we'll
congratulations to you on having a new second lieutenant in your family.
He's talking about my daughter, who was just promoted second lieutenant of the Rhode Island National Guard, United States Army. We're very proud of her. Thank you, General.
Thank you.
And we'll have more of Inside West Virginia Politics after this break. Stay with us.